How many failures does it take for you to become a success? For me, that number was 58. 58 times I failed as an amateur boxer or a professional boxer. My name's Carl Frampton. As I said, a former professional boxer. In the super bantamweight division, I won titles such as the Celtic, Commonwealth, European. I then became the second fighter from Ireland to win or to become a unified champion after Steve Collins. I then moved up a division and became the first fighter, and still to this day, the only fighter from Northern Ireland to become a two-weight world boxing champion. But easily for me, the proudest moment of my career was when, in 2016, I was voted by all the peers and the scholars in the industry as the Fighter of the Year, to put my name amongst great fighters such as recognizable names: Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Roberto Duran, and obviously the greatest, Muhammad Ali. But I'm on that list too, and it's something that I'm extremely proud about. But I want to talk to you about some of these defeats and how they allowed me to have the successful career that I went on to have. So if we rewind back till I was, about 20 years ago, when I was around 18 or 19, I was this young kid with dreams and aspirations of becoming a professional world champion at one point in my career. The Irish Championships were coming up, and I was drew against an old friend of mine and a good fighter called Kevin Fantasy. But I was going down to this tournament, not only to beat Kevin, but to win the tournament and then move on to bigger and better things. But that's not how it worked out. I lost at the quarterfinal stages, and I was absolutely heartbroken. I felt like the dream was over, the career was over. I went back to the changing rooms, I was crying. The journey from Dublin to Belfast, back up the road, was a difficult one. But I went to my girlfriend's house at the time, now wife, and she was a big supporter of me and someone that was on this journey with me for quite a long time and knew that I had these dreams and aspirations of reaching the top. And she asked me a question. The question was an important question, and it was a question that I knew the answer to. And that question was, have you been doing it right? Have you been living the life? And the answer was no, and I knew it. I had been training. I'd been training hard, but could I have been training a little bit harder? Yes. As an 18 or 19-year-old, I was given into peer pressure and maybe having drinks in the weekends with friends. I wasn't eating the correct foods, and obviously in a weight-making sport, it's important that you eat the correct foods, because then I was having to crash the weight and it was having a detrimental effect on my performance. I wasn't sleeping properly. So all these things combined added up to me putting in bad performances. But I made a promise to her that night and to my team, my old amateur coach, Billy McKee, who was a massive, massive influence on my career and my life, and I owe so much to my parents as well, and the friends and family who were with me on this journey from the very start. And that promise was, I'm going to give this another year. I'm going to live the life. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, although I was an amateur at this stage, but live like a professional athlete and see where it takes me. And I was giving myself one more year to turn it all around. So I'd done that for the next year. I grafted, I made sacrifices, I put the head down and really just got on with things. The Irish Championships come up again, quarter-final stages again, and I meet my old friend and foe, Kevin Fantasy, at the quarter-final stages. But this time it was different. This time I was full of confidence because I knew I'd put in the effort required and the dedication and everything else that goes along with that. But there was also a lot of pressure, and the pressure was being applied by me because I'd made this big deal that if it doesn't go my way, I'm probably going to have to look elsewhere and get another job. So the fight starts, ding, ding, round one. And I take a comfortable 5-0 lead on the old computer scoring system at the end of the first round. Midway through round two, I go 10 points in front before Kevin's corner throws in the towel. And for me, this moment was just a light bulb moment, almost as if I've just realized now that if I do what I'm meant to be doing, like I have been for the last year, I can beat guys more convincingly than this guy that had beat me. He pretty convincingly beat me the year before. So all it took was 1 year, and I knew that this was my thing. I was talented, but my talent's only going to get me so far. I'm not going to say I was the most talented fighter in Ireland, far from it, but I would doubt if there was many other fighters that were more determined and had a stronger mindset than me from that point going forward. So my career was going well. I go on and win that tournament. I become Irish champion. I then turn professional. and it's going really well at the start. I'm being talked about as one of the hot prospects in world boxing. I've got a massive fan base. I win, like I said, a unified division. I move up a division and become a 2-weight world champion. I fought a guy called Leo Santa Cruz in the Barclays Center in New York. This was a fight that I wasn't expected to win, but I went out there, believed myself I could do it, and I absolutely done it. It was a good fight, a close fight, but one that I felt like I won fair and square. The next fight was a rematch with Leo Santa Cruz. He was the champion the first time, so he was entitled to a rematch for a chance to try and win his title back. This time it was in Las Vegas, a massive occasion for me in the MGM Grand. Seeing your name up in lights on the Vegas Strip was a huge moment and something that I'm very, very proud of. But the fight didn't go my way, just like the fantasy fight. It was a good competitive fight, but Leo got his hand raised at the end, and I feel like it was a fair result. And again, I was very disappointed. Didn't feel like I felt like the first time I lost when I lost to Kevin Fantasy, but I knew, and I tried to rationalize things, I've just lost to an elite fighter. I believed in myself as an elite fighter. Sometimes you win and lose at the very high levels of sport, and that's what happened to me. But I went back home to Belfast. I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I was certainly very, very down. And I was moping about the house. I had 2 kids at the time. I had a wife as well, and it's probably not the great look for the man of the house to be moping around and feeling a little bit sorry for himself. But there's something that I noticed, and it was big. So in the lead up to other fights, I was being tortured all the time by even my manager, my trainer, a couple of phone calls a day, people on the outskirts that were kind of happy to be around me when I was winning. But literally the phone stopped ringing. It was so noticeable. And the people that cared for me were there. My wife, my old friend and mentor, Billy McKee, another guy called Cooper McClure in the Amateur Boxing Club, my mum and my dad, and the people that were on me from this journey at the start. So I made a conscious decision that the circle was going to become smaller. It's okay to have acquaintances and people on the outsides, but these people that really want me to succeed are only the people that I want to keep within this circle. And not only did my career, I think, benefit from that, but also my life. I feel like my life certainly benefited from that, and I became a much more well-rounded person. So after that defeat, I then move on. I start to get back to winning ways. I win an interim world title against a very good fighter called Nonito Donaire. I box at Windsor Park. A dream come true for me in front of 23,000 people, another massive occasion for me. And I get offered the chance to box a guy called Josh Warrington. If anybody's a boxing fan in here, you'll be familiar with Josh Warrington. Very, very good fighter. But I was going into this fight not only as the bookies' favourite, but the general population around would consider me to be a big favourite going into this fight. I also considered myself to be a big favourite, but I knew it was going to be a difficult fight. So Josh is tough. He's rugged, he's very fit, he's got a big output, he throws a lot of shots. He's also a little bit dirty, he throws his head in and his elbows at times, and you have to be aware of that, but he gets away with it. And these were all these things that I was expecting. But his record read 30 wins, and only 30 of them wins. He was undefeated, 30 wins, no defeats, and 6 wins by knockout. So that's not a high ratio, he's not a big puncher in my eyes. And one of my best assets, I believed at the time, was my durability and my ability to take shots. I've been in with some big punchers before, and their shots have just bounced off my head. I've been in with guys in the gym sparring who are sometimes 4 and 5 divisions above me, and I felt macho standing up to them and being able to take what they're hitting me with. But I got this wrong. I didn't underestimate Josh in a sense of his whole package, but I underestimated one aspect of his game, and that was that he wasn't a puncher. And boy, did I get that wrong. He bangs me with a right hand about 30 seconds into the first round of the fight, and I feel like the roof's coming down around me. I have no idea where I am. Literally don't know what's going on, and the fight continues like that for quite a while. I do well to come back and win a few rounds in the middle, but Josh kind of wins the fight at a counter, really. He won very well. And it's something I'm extremely disappointed about still to this day, because I believe if I hadn't have went in with a mindset and thinking that I can't be hurt by this guy, and overestimating my own ability to be able to take a shot, I believe I still could have won that fight. So if we listen and think about some of these lessons that I've learned from the defeats that allowed me to have the successes that I've had. So way back to the fantasy one, that was about being accountable for myself, being honest with myself, asking myself questions and answering these questions, and literally getting the head down and grafting. I was talented, like I said, but talent was only going to take me so far, and I needed so much more. Work ethic, drive, making all these sacrifices, everything else like that to get to the very top. The Leo Santa Cruz defeat was obviously shortening the circle, we can call it a circle of trust. People that I trusted and people that wanted me to achieve what they believed I could achieve and what I believed I could achieve myself. And then the Josh Warrington fight. Never underestimate your opponent like I did, but certainly never overestimate your own abilities. And these were two mistakes I made in that fight. Now I'll leave you this one. It's a short and sweet line, but I think it's very, very important. If I can feel my way to the top, then so can you. Thank you.